Bienvenidos! Welcome to another episode of Spain on a Fork. So today we're making a very simple recipe that's packed with a ton of flavors and comes together in just 40 minutes. We're talking a Mediterranean zucchini rice. Now this is another one of those recipes that truly hits on all cylinders as it's made with heart-healthy ingredients. It's very easy to make, and with that first bite, it's gonna fill your body with so much goodness. You know, folks, sometimes you don't need a ton of ingredients, expensive equipment, or tricky techniques to create an extraordinary dish. And today we are gonna prove that. Let's begin by getting our ingredients ready. I'm gonna cut half of a medium-sized zucchini into thin rounds that are 1/4 inch thick, which is a little over 1/2 centimeter, and then season the slices of zucchini with sea salt on both sides and set them aside. Then I'm going to chop the other half of zucchini into large chunks. Finely chop 1 small onion. And roughly chop 6 cloves of garlic. For this recipe, you don't want to finely mince the garlic. You want to have larger chunks in there. It's what gives this rice dish that beautiful pop of garlic goodness. For the next step, let's start cooking our dish. I'm going to grab a large non-stick fry pan, heat it with a medium heat, and add in about 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, which is 45 milliliters. While the olive oil is heating, let's move back to the slices of zucchini that we seasoned with salt on both sides. I'm going to transfer them over some paper towels and then pat them completely dry. They've been sitting there just for a couple minutes, but by seasoning them with that salt, it's extracted the water out of the zucchini. That way later on when we cook it, it doesn't get mushy and it keeps its beautiful firm texture. Then we'll add in the slices of zucchini into the pan with the hot olive oil. You want to make sure they're on a single layer, and I always like to add the first one by the handle and then go in a circular motion. Then when we have to flip them, I know exactly where to begin. That way they all evenly cook. After about 2 minutes, I'm going to gently flip the slices of zucchini to fry the other side. After a total cooking time of 4 minutes on the slices of zucchini, that's 2 minutes per side, and they're perfectly lightly sauteed. You don't want to brown them too much. I'm going to remove them from the pan. And we'll season them with some freshly cracked black pepper and set them aside. Now using the same pan with the same heat, I'm going to add in the diced onion, the chopped zucchini, and the chopped garlic. And we'll mix the vegetables around, that way they're all coated in that olive oil. And as you can see, this pan is very hot right now, so it's important to mix this continuously, that way the veggies don't brown too quickly and they all evenly saute. After about 3 minutes and the vegetables are lightly sauteed, once again you don't want to brown them too much, I'm going to add in 1/2 cup of tomato sauce, which is 115 grams. The tomato sauce I'm using, I made by finely grating tomatoes, but you can also use canned tomato sauce or even passata. And we'll give it a quick mix and simmer the tomato sauce for a couple minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to grab a small jar of cooked chickpeas, which is the same thing as the canned ones, drain them into a sieve, and rinse them under some cold running water. Now the size of the jar that I'm using is 295 grams, which becomes 210 grams once it's drained, or 1 1/4 cups of cooked chickpeas. After simmering the tomato sauce for about 3 minutes, and as you can see it's slightly thickened up, I'm going to add in the drained chickpeas. And we'll season everything with sea salt and a generous portion of freshly cracked black pepper. And we'll give this a mix, that way everything's evenly mixed together, and remember to be gentle here, otherwise you can easily break those chickpeas apart. Then I'm going to add in 2 cups of vegetable broth, which is 475 milliliters. The broth that I'm using is homemade. You'll find the recipe on how to make it in the iCard above and description box below. Of course, you can also use water here. Just make sure to season accordingly. And we'll also pinch in 1/4 teaspoon of saffron threads, which is about 0.17 grams. Then we'll turn up the heat from a medium heat to a high heat. And we'll give it a quick mix and bring the broth to a boil. As always, the saffron threads I'm using in this recipe are from Golden Saffron. Like I always tell you, one of the best saffrons in the market. You'll find a link where you can get some in the description box below. While the broth is heating up, let's start getting our rice ready. For this recipe, I'm using long grain rice. However, you can use whatever type of rice you like here, though the rice to liquid ratios might be different than the ones that I'm using, so make sure to check the package instructions. I'm going to measure out 1 cup of the rice, which is 190 grams. Add the rice into a sieve, and we'll rinse it under some cold running water until that water starts running clear underneath the sieve, which takes about 30 seconds. Once the broth comes to a boil, I'm going to add in the rice into the pan, and we'll give it one final mix. That way everything's evenly mixed together. After this step, you don't want to mix the rice again, otherwise it's going to start releasing its starch and it's going to lose its beautiful texture. Then I'm going to place a lid on the pan and lower the fire to a low-medium heat. And we're going to simmer our rice on a low-medium heat until it's perfectly cooked through and all that broth has been absorbed, which is about 15 minutes in my case. So once again, make sure to check the package instructions in the rice that you're using, that way it's perfectly cooked through. After about 15 minutes, and there's virtually no broth left in the pan, this rice should be perfectly cooked through. I'm going to remove the pan from the heat, remove the lid from the pan, and using a fork, we'll gently fluff the rice. This is going to help separate the grains of rice. Then we'll add in our slices of zucchini that we cooked earlier. I like to add them in there in a circular design as it gives the dish a beautiful presentation. And we'll top it off with a kiss of finely grated Manchego cheese. The one that I'm using has been aged for 6 months, so it's got a beautiful flavor to it. However, to make this dish, you can use whatever cheese you like. Check it out, our Mediterranean zucchini rice is done. Such a beautiful one-pan dish, easy to make, incredible presentation, and all done in just 40 minutes. Let's give it a try and see how it turned out. Now this is what the Mediterranean kitchen is all about. Such a beautiful presentation and so easy to make. Here we go. Absolutely delicious, and so many great textures in there between that rice, which by the way is perfectly cooked through, and the chickpeas, and it's for the flavor, so much Mediterranean goodness with that zucchini really standing out. Folks, you saw this so easy to make, all done using just one pan, and came together in 40 minutes. Give this a try at home, and I promise it's gonna fill your body with so much Mediterranean goodness. Really quick before I go, shout out to a couple of my patrons: Sam Cohen, Kent Anderson, Michael Cole, Luli Garcia Diaz, and Grace Suarez. Again guys, thank you so much for being patrons of Spain on a Fork. You know how much I appreciate you. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button, leave me a comment below, and share this video with your family and friends. That way our Spain on the Fork community can continue to grow. Till the next time, hasta luego. Absolutely incredible episode. This is what amazing food is all about.